Oh, Susan, such a relief to see you.
My dear sister, I came as soon as I got your letter.
My poor nerves are being tested again by my wretched mother-in-law. Didn't I show you my brand new instrument? It's such a beautiful instrument, and it sounds divine.
Hey everyone, and welcome to my first speaking video. Today I'll be talking about the historical accuracy of piano playing scenes in period dramas. And by historical accuracy, I mean the level of research that has been done on the topic, focusing mainly on the choice of the pianos, the choice of the pieces, the gestures of the actors, and the interpretation of the pieces. Based on those topics, I will attribute a rate from 1 to 5 to all the movies I will be reviewing, 1 being mediocre and 5 being excellent. After this long introduction, let's begin with one of the most famous period dramas of all time, Pride and Prejudice, 1995 version with Colin Firth and Jennifer Ely. There are 2 types of piano music in this miniseries. The one that was composed for the movie itself by Carl Davis, that is used more as a background music and also in the opening, and the music that is played by the character themselves in the numerous scenes where they play the fortepiano and sing. A very good thing is that Carl Davis insisted on using historical fortepianos and asked the actresses to learn the pieces their character perform. All the pieces were actually recorded by the fortepiano player Melvin Tan, and the actresses had an earplug with the music on, and they played on mute fortepianos. So yeah, for the choice of the piano, they did pretty well. The only thing I regret is that we don't see more of the fortepianos, but I mean the music was played on historical pianos by a very good fortepiano player, so the job is done and done well. So now about the pieces the character plays. Everything is quite plausible. The Sonatina by Clementi, played by Georgiana, is a very good choice. Clementi was very popular in England at this time. Georgiana also plays a piece by Beethoven, Andante Favori. Also a very good choice, since by 1812 England was second to Austria in its consumption of Beethoven scores, thanks to Clementi, who was his publisher in England. Elizabeth Bennet plays and sings 2 pieces by Mozart, a sonata in A major and the famous Voi che sapete. No problem with that either. Also, Mary plays a song by Handel. Somebody I made. Well, yeah, she kind of butchered the piece by Handel, but that's part of the movie. The only thing they could have done better is to include more English composers, and they could have used pieces from Jane Austen's own music collection. That's probably the most relevant examples of the pieces that her characters would have played. So yeah, it deserves 4 to me. Very good job on the music on this one, though something could have been like, I would have enjoyed more like historical details, but that's very, very good. Let's go on with War and Peace 2007, starring Clémence Poésy. Okay, so before I'm getting critical, I would like to say that I really like this miniseries and would still recommend it even if the piano music is pretty chaotic. As you just saw, they used a modern piano in the movie, a brand new modern piano that's probably 200 years too early. Well, maybe they didn't have the budget to afford a playable fortepiano, but there is one fortepiano in the movie, though we cannot hear it. I think, yeah, she's just standing in front of it. So they had one, maybe it wasn't playable, I'm not sure, or maybe they just didn't know the difference between a modern piano and a fortepiano. But that's not the only thing, because the pieces they choose are not from the correct time period either. That really looks like Chopin. who was 2 years old because it's 1812. And they dance a waltz. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is still a little early for this. Well, it is a very good movie, but as for the Fortepiano music, it deserves a 1. Let's go on with another Jane Austen adaptation, Emma 1996 version, starring Gwyneth Paltrow and Ewan McGregor. It is not my favorite version of Emma, but as for the accuracy of the music, it is probably the best. They used music directly from Jane Austen's own songbook. So the pieces we hear in this movie, let's see. Little Waltz Tune, The Dawning of the Day, Rossini's Mélodie Italienne, Mozart's Wiegenlied, and there is a last one. Did you not hear my lady? A song by Handel that was then adapted in an English version in 1928, and they choose to use the English version from 1928, so that's a bit anachronic. But the original Italian aria was recorded in Jane Austen's own handwritten songbooks.
Now that was thoughtful of whoever sent the instrument. That betokens true affection, I believe.
The pianos they used looked very historical and from the good time period, so to me everything looks very good. I would just say 4.5 maybe for the little anachronic summer valse piano adaptation of Handel's song. I go on with something I watched only for science, because I didn't watch it before I did this video. Bridgerton.
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. Hard to say with a French accent, I guess. I confess I had a lot of prejudice on this one, and thought the piano music would be way worse, but it was actually way better than I expected, and I was pretty surprised. They even used an English fortepiano, a Broadwood from 1799. They couldn't have made a better choice than this, so cool. Let's see some of it. Here Daphne plays Beethoven, which is quite plausible in 1813, as I said before. The only thing I would criticize here is that it is clear that she is not the one who is playing. There is this big chord where she just throws her hand very weirdly, and the gestures of the hand don't always correspond with what you hear. But I mean, yeah, let's say it's a detail. And let's go on.
And what about the grand picnic? We shall see, Mamma. How terrible for Fran that she'll be off practicing pianoforte with Aunt Winnie all season.
Here she plays a song by Bach, who was hardly known in England at this time, from what I know. And that's a very common mistake in movies. They put Johann Sebastian Bach music everywhere. But after his death, Bach's reputation as a composer first declined. And his work was regarded as old-fashioned. Felix Mendelssohn significantly contributed to the renewed interest in Bach's work with his 1829 Berlin performance of the Saint-Mathieu Passion. So yeah, here it would have been better to choose a piece by Bach's, so difficult to say, Bach's 18th son, Johann Christian, who was well known in England at this time because he lived there. He was known as the English Bach. It would have been way more likely. And also the last thing I have to say on Bridgerton is that I found the interpretation a little too modern. Yeah, let's go on with a movie about a composer. I didn't know this movie before I did this video, and I had a lot of fun watching it. It's called Impromptu. Yeah, a movie with a music-related title that's about Chopin and Liszt and Georges Sand. Probably they made a lot of research on the music. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but they clearly didn't. Let's speak first of the piano Chopin is playing on. This piano looks exactly like mine, and it's 1907. And we're in, what's the time of this movie again? 1830, what are you doing? 1836. So this is my piano, as you see, 1907. As you see, the keys are quite bigger than on my other piano, which is 1830. That would have been a way more suitable piano for Impromptu. I'll let them know next time. Plus another thing about the piano they used, it is an Erard, and Chopin was way more of a Pleyel man. He played only on Pleyel piano when he arrived in France, so that's a bit weird that they didn't choose Pleyel. There are two pianos in the movie that's more authentic. The one Liszt is playing on when he's doing a concert. And there's also a square piano used by Chopin during a theater play. That's quite beautiful. So let's speak about the pieces now. Most of the pieces are not matching with the year of the movie. The action sets in 1836. Then why do we hear the barcarolle that was composed in 1846, 10 years after? Why do we hear Liszt playing Mazeppa, published in 1852, and Chopin's Prelude number 15, composed in Mallorca in 1838? Not to mention that the interpretation of the pieces is very modern, and Chopin would probably have played with way more rubato and effects. Some good things, such as the scene where Chopin and Liszt plays a transcription of a Beethoven symphony at four hands on the piano. That's very plausible. So yeah, this one deserves a 2. Was very disappointed. And also, why is George always wearing pants? That's it for this first episode. I hope you liked it. Please let me know in the comments down below if you did. And don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel if you like historical instruments, music history, and period costumes. I will probably make a second part of this video, so don't hesitate to send me requests of movies. Bye!